hologram of the Queen. Okay, this is what the British are doing. Okay, this is what the fucking British are doing, folks. Do you understand what is like? Just comprehend how fucking brain broken this entire country is, and then reconsider a very, very sad reality that this fucking group of psychos literally blew a 13 colony lead, but also it means that it was the kingdom where the sun never set. Like, they actually fucking literally dominated the entire planet. These psychos, these sick freaks. Look at these fucking insane people.
As we hear down the Mall the comments of Her Majesty in the address to the nation she made at the end of her coronation, we can see inside the carriage a representation of the Queen as she came back from her coronation wearing the imperial state crown and holding the scepter and the orb, waving to those who are on either side of the Mall.
So it's a hologram that's been created, especially, Joanna. It's pretty cool,
It's fantastic. And it's in black and white, which makes it even more sort of eerily.
How did they fucking do it, yeah? It's fan-fucking-tastic, mate. I tell you, do we have a fucking license for that? Do we have a license to see the fucking Queen looking all tight? Looking all ping, yeah? Fucking Queen!
Thrilling in a funny way. And to think that the Queen, maybe at Windsor still, is sitting and seeing that.
And she was 27 at the time. She'd come to the throne at 25, and all of us may have relations who are at that age now. And the thought that at 25, someone suddenly becomes head of state, carrying on at the death of her father, which itself was something she had to come to terms with. And then within 2 years, she's crowned in a ceremony that is really the overcoming of the Second World War and its privations. And this great carriage represented a...
Bro, she, like, people are like, oh my God, how incredible the responsibility. The responsibility of being the Queen at the young age of 27. It's like, dude, what are you talking about, dude? Like, why are people looking at this and going, this is normal? Why? I don't understand how you could just look at something like this and go, well, this is a jolly activity. Incredible. What do you, this is weird, bro. This is weird. Someone said Lizzie is single, by the way. Oh, yeah, no, she is. She's single as a Pringle, dude. And I heard she's looking, okay? Who's gonna blow the Queen's back walls out here? I feel like I can't make too many jokes about this because it's like they're gonna not allow me to enter the fucking the kingdom for saying that. You know what I mean? Oi, mate, I'm the fucking Queen, yeah? Eat me fucking minge. Oh, me gosh needs a fucking meat shanking. Oh, dude, that's you know. I'm getting the fucking fanny flutters. Oh, yes, dude. She said that. She actually said that. Why would you want to go to the UK, though? UK's prettiest. I love the UK. Have you watched Monty Python? You're giving vibes of the knights who say nigh? No. I just don't understand. You're the... Bruv, I'm British and me minge is twinging. The Queen's minge needs a proper... Oh, God. Okay. Britbonger Island's just Disneyland for turfs?
sense of hope with the young Queen and her young husband, the Duke of Edinburgh.
Yeah, the young Queen and her young husband.
And looking to the
who definitely did not, who's definitely not related to the Queen. And also, definitely, certainly, did not first meet the Queen when she was 16 years old, of course. English Tory dude I know had a whole party to watch this shit on TV. Freak shit. Yeah, bruv, we need a fucking tea and biscuits. 13, in fact. 12? Oh my god. Someone says 16 here is legal, lad. Okay, bro. Yeah,
The
Ayo.
future, Queen as head of state for 70 years, this Platinum Jubilee pageant. And the work that the household cavalry have put in is also matched by that of the Royal Mews. You can see, can't you, Joanna, the leather springs that the Queen, when she was describing being in the carriage for her coronation, said it made the journey absolutely horrible because it was like being in a out at sea, almost lolloping along, and it can't have been very comfortable.
The craziest part about this is that, like, dude, I love British media because, like, they can make content out of anything. You guys think, like, me as a Twitch streamer, like, I stall a lot, right? You're always like, Hassan, you stall so much. You're the king at stalling. Like, you can turn, you know, fucking a 20-minute video into, like, 3 hours. Bro, these guys literally look at paint drying and will, they'll make content out of it. It's like, well, look at the Queen, mucking around. Very nice. As you can see, she was 27 at the time. Quite pretty, quite beautiful. It's like they're killing it, dude. I mean, this is wild that this is like content for them. Okay? God damn. What a boring fucking existence, dude. What an incredibly fucking boring existence that you could just sit around and watch this shit. Sit around and fucking watch this shit like... I don't know. I don't get it.
As the crowd here just behind us get their first glimpse of this gold coach.
Having a monarchy next door is like... Oh, I think I saw this. Having a monarchy next door is like having a neighbor who's really into clowns and has daubed their house with clown murals, displays clown dolls in each window, and has an insatiable desire to hear about and discuss clown-related news stories. More specifically for the Irish, it's like having a neighbor who's really into clowns and also your grandfather was murdered by a clown. Beyond this, it's the stuff of children's stories. Having a queen as a head of state is like having a pirate or a mermaid or Ewok as the head of state. What's the logic? Bees have their queens, but the queen bee lays all the eggs in a hive. The Queen of the Britons has laid just 4 British eggs, and one of those is the sweatless creep Prince Andrew. So it's hardly deserving of applause. The contemporary royals have no real power. They serve entirely to enshrine classism in the British non-constitution. They live in high luxury and low autonomy, cosplaying as their ancestors, and are the subject of constant psychosocial projection from the people mourning the loss of empire. They're basically a Rorschach test that the tabloids hold up in order to gauge what level of hysterical batshittery their readers are capable of any moment in time. He isn't Irish? Okay, well, he's saying some Irish-ass shit. So I just assumed it was an Irish person writing this. I don't fucking know I don't know any of the fucking British shit, dude. What is this, Doctor Who or something people were saying? Like, is that what it is? Is this Doctor Who? Or someone in the chat was saying? I don't give a fuck, dude. I just don't care. I don't care. I am being disrespectful, but in the best way possible, okay? In the right ways. I'm being disrespectful, but only in the right ways and not to the provost, okay? Because at the top of the fucking hour, there's a 60-second ad break. Do you understand? At the top of the hour, every hour, there's a 60-second ad break. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do that for $5. Or you can do that for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You get 1 free Prime subscription a month. Or if you're lucky, you can get gifted a sub. Obviously, she has to be lucky every day, but we only have to be lucky once. You only have to be lucky one time to get gifted a sub, whereas Theresa May has to be lucky every day. Tamana and Derudster, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Margaret Thatcher. I don't know why I said Theresa May. Margaret Thatcher! Why did I say Theresa May? Okay. Alright, let's fucking go. Look at what they projected onto the palace for the Jubilee. Shut the fuck up, dude. What? This is not real. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, dude. For a second, I was like, what the fuck is that? They did not do that, okay? That would be pretty funny if they did. I mean, that would be pretty interesting if someone was able to do that. As an Irish man from Boston, I'm deeply offended. Theresa May dripping right now with a huge flex, apparently. Theresa May is turned up in a ball gown. All right, regardless. Here's the fucking 1 minute ad break now. Real Noam Chomsky, thank you for the 5 gifted subs as well. Now, why did I start this conversation about Boris Johnson? About Bojo! About fucking Bojo! Well, the reason why I start this is because I wanted to show you the weird British behavior, okay? I wanted to show you the Anglos and the weird shite they get themselves into, okay? Now, they do this like weird fucking platinum jubilee shit, okay? I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Americans are so annoying. Can you shut up, man? No. So I am under the assumption that she's dead. For the record, I think she has died. Okay. I do think that she is dead. Queen Elizabeth II's image was projected onto the Stonehenge. Wait, what? Why? Anyway, whatever. But apparently, Bojo got fucking booed at the Platinum Jubilee. Now, for Americans, you're like, why did Bojo get booed at the Platinum Jubilee? Well, because, and the British have an opportunity here, Bojo got booed at the Platinum Jubilee because he is a big party boy. Okay? He's a big fucking party boy. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the UK, as you guys remember, during COVID, that was a thing. It was a pandemic here in America. Ultimately, no matter what happens, like, even if fucking Bojo loses the no confidence vote, or even if they like destroy him, which is happening currently, by the way,
Boris Johnson needs a simple majority of 100.
It's still gonna be another Tory dickhead in a position of power. I don't even know who the fuck it will be, but
lose and he will be ousted. Well, in the next hour, we're going to be hearing from cabinet ministers and also some of those rebels looking to topple their leader. Plus, we will, of course, bring you the result as soon as we have it. That should be around 9 p.m. We, of course, been hearing from many Conservative MPs who are starting to give us a bit of an indication about how they have voted. The latest, Dehenna Davidson, who really is a poster girl for the Red Wall, the first ever Conservative MP to hold the seat of Bishop Auckland. She has said she's voting against Boris Johnson. But, of course, we just heard from Kit Malthouse, the government minister, saying he believes that the Prime Minister is going to get a thumping victory. Not long until we find out. First, though, our political editor, Beth Rigby, has the story.
All right, let's do the background on Boris now. Okay, so he got booed. Let's watch. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Boris Johnson. Now, of course, Boris Johnson, for those of you who don't know, is a Tory cunt piece of shit, nonce, obviously. Just as is the case, as is tradition, of course. You need to do a little bit of noncery in order to be a Tory. Obviously, it's like, what do your politicians do in this state of Florida? Florida Oblast. They get a DUI. Well, in the UK, you need to either have sexual intercourse with a pig or with a child. Yes, that is right. So basic Tory things, of course. The more noncery you engage in, the higher level you have, and you become a lord eventually. Very nice. Regardless, Boris Johnson, on the other hand, does have, I do have sympathetic points of view towards Boris, considering not his noncery, of course, but the fact that he is of Ottoman descent. That's right. Boris Johnson is an Ottoman. He's doing a fifth column style takeover of the UK, and actually is going to bring about the Islamic Caliphate to the true successor, the Ottoman Empire. Yes, very nice. All right, let's continue. Here is Boris Johnson. By the way, for anyone who says, well, you could be sued for this, yeah, except, like, you know, he was fucking homies with Ghislaine Maxwell and probably piped her in college and hung out with Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell. So, you know, not that crazy for me to say things like this, especially because, once again, it is the culture of the Tories to do nonsense. Okay? Yeah, Boris Johnson, you know, Boris Johnson, friends with Ghislaine Maxwell, and also a Tory. So not all that surprising that he's engaged in maybe perhaps a little bit of nonsense.
Of Boris Johnson, from the day he was born to the day he became Prime Minister. June 1964. Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson is born in New York. His earliest recorded ambition is to become World King. 1982. In a letter to Johnson's father...
Bro, this motherfucker was ugly as shit even as a baby, dude. This is one of those instances where you, like, throw the whole baby away, okay? This didn't take. You know what I mean? You have a whole-ass child and he's got this dog shit haircut. You're going to be like, all right, nah, fuck it, dude. Nope, didn't take. Gotta try again.
An Eton schoolteacher writes of the 17-year-old Boris Johnson.
Look
he
at this
sometimes
fucking
seems
idiot.
affronted when criticised for what amounts to a gross failure of responsibility, and surprised at the same time that he was not appointed captain of the school for the next half. I think he honestly believes that it is churlish of us not to regard him as an exception, one who should be free of the network of obligation that binds everyone else.
1983. Johnson becomes a leading member of Oxford University's male-only Bullingdon Club. During his tenure, the club's members indulge in sexist taunting, vandalism, restaurant trashing, bullying and ritual humiliation of the poor. One recruiter for the club...
Dude, I love that, dude. That's so British to be like, yes, we engage in a bit of... We're having a little bit of a rout, you know, fancy. We loved to taunt the working poor, of course.
Vandalism, restaurant trashing, bullying and ritual humiliation of the poor.
Pleb taunting. One of the most, like, I think, like, one of the most disgusting examples that where, like, a caste system is so apparent and so visible. It's a little bit different than, like, I would go so far as to say it's a little bit different than, like, America, where, like, the American small business tyrants love LARPing as the working class, right? They love LARPing as the working class, and, like, they don't do this level of, like, transparent, like, fuck the poor type behavior. Whereas, of course, in the UK, the elitist, partially because they have, like, you know, lordship still, and they have the monarchy, openly show their disdain for the working poor on a regular basis. It's really interesting to see. Like, it's not... You normally don't see this sort of stuff, I think, in America to this degree. Like, obviously, you have horrific disdain for the homeless. And certainly, like, the American bourgeois are not fans of the working class in general. But it's never this aggressively brazen, open. Like, it bears itself. It bears itself in policies. It bears itself in the attitude we have towards... What is this? Felix calling you out? I think it's cool for men to have some type of jewelry, like a watch, like pinky rings and all that are way too much for me. But when you look at what women get with expensive bags, the marriage of semi-practicality and swag, it's enough to make you jealous. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. It's because the working class is more controlled in America. Why do people feed such parasites? Because we have peasant mindset. Why do Americans fancy themselves to be temporarily embarrassed millionaires? Why do the British very openly fucking suck off the monarchy? It's because there is abso-fucking-lutely a peasant brain, like, epigenetic memory unlocked in the minds of so many fucking people that come from a long line of peasantry that turn around and go, no, my lord, it's actually good, my lord. Someone needs to take care of all this power. Someone needs to control everything, my lord. That's the way that Americans operate, and that's exactly the way that the fucking British operate. No matter how independent we see ourselves here in the United States of America, we love the boot, okay? We do. We do. And the British openly love the boot. They suck and fuck the boot. And here in America, we do it as well. It's like, it's the same exact attitude of like not wanting any change and not wanting to change society for the better and wanting things to remain the same with the hopes that like maybe you individually here in America can one day become the oppressing bourgeois class as well, which will, of course, in many instances never happen for you, but it doesn't matter. Just live with that dream.
One recruiter for the club will later describe it during Johnson's time, saying Bullingdon members
found it amusing if people were intimidated or frightened by their behaviour. I remember them walking down a street in Oxford in their tails, chanting "Buller, Buller," and smashing bottles along the way just to cow people. Boris was one of the big beasts of the club. He was up for anything. They treated certain types of people with absolute disdain and referred to them as plebs.
1984. Sixth former Damien Furness visits Johnson's Oxford College for his entrance interview. Many years later, he will relate what happened.
I was staying the night and had an evening to kill in the college bar. Johnson was propping it up with his coterie of acolytes, whose only apparent role in life was to laugh at his jokes. In the course of my pint, I felt obliged to finish. He mocked my speech impediment, my accent, my school, my dress sense, my haircut, my background, my father's work as a farm.
I think the funniest part about it is that Boris Johnson had the gall, the audacity to make fun of someone else's haircut. Now, a lot of you make fun of me and say like, oh, you look like a water buffalo, okay? Or whatever the fuck. But my lord, was Boris's fucking haircut always bad. Like, he's never had a good hair era. At least I had my good hair era, you know?
Worker and garage proprietor, and my prospects in the scholarship interview I was there for. His only motivation was to amuse his posh boy mates.
1987. At the age of 23, Johnson marries the daughter of a millionaire art historian. Fresh out of university and aided by family connections, he lands a traineeship at the Times newspaper. 1988. Johnson is sacked as a trainee at the Times for making up a quote on his first front-page story. 1990. Johnson conspires with his Bullingdon Club friend Darius Guppy to have a fellow journalist assaulted. The two discuss in detail how badly assaulted the man will be, including cracked ribs and black eyes, before Johnson agrees to supply the journalist's address for the attack to be carried out.
Boris, have you got this number? How badly are you going to hurt this guy? Okay, let me explain this. You will not be put into intensive care or anything like that. Okay, Darius, I thought I'll do it. Don't worry.
The conspiracy goes nowhere, and no attack happens. 1991. According to a friend of Johnson's wife, an incident occurs in which Johnson displays his frightening temper, after which his wife turns up at the friend's flat in Brussels looking shocked, scared and on the brink of tears. The marriage soon deteriorates as Johnson begins an affair with a barrister. 1993. Johnson gets his barrister girlfriend pregnant and is soon divorced for the first time. 1994. He is now a columnist for The Telegraph and The Spectator magazine.
By the way, yeah, he couldn't cut it in the Times. And in the Spectator magazine, Boris Johnson wrote a fuckload of incredibly racist bullshit, for the record, including but not limited to calling Muslim women. What did he famously call them? I mean, he's like defended blackface, called Muslim women letterboxes. I mean, just a horrible monster for the most part.
His columns include racially charged invectives such as slamming Nelson Mandela for the, quote, tyranny of black majority rule in post-apartheid South Africa, and describing Chinese workers as, quote, puffing coolies. 1995, he describes the children of single mothers as, quote, ill-raised, ignorant, aggressive and illegitimate, saying it is, quote, outrageous that married couples should pay for the single mother's desire to procreate independently of men.
You know, regular fucking conservative shit. Like, they have this is the British version of that, by the way. This is exactly what you hear from conservatives out here, you know what I mean? This is it.
In the same piece, he dismisses working class men as, quote, likely to be drunk, criminal, aimless, feckless and hopeless. 1998, delighting in the resignation of gay Cabinet Minister Peter Mandelson for accepting an undisclosed loan from a friend, Johnson describes the gay community as, quote, tank-topped bumboys. 1999, Johnson is made editor of The Spectator magazine, promising owner Conrad Black he will not stand to be an MP. 2000, Johnson begins a relationship with one of his employees. He promises.
By the way, this dude fucked a lot, which is really interesting. You know how when you watch like, French cinema, you're like, wow, they always use like super ugly people as famous characters in these roles, you know what I mean? And it's the same as it is in the UK, I guess, where like homie just literally looks hard to look at. Like Ted Cruz would be a fucking UK 7, you know what I mean? It's wild that he fucked this much. It is absolutely fucking wild, okay? I don't know what the fuck is going on, but they need to shut the island down and figure out what the hell is going on. Do you understand? I mean, this dude fucked like a lot, dude.
Promises her that he will leave his wife to marry her. He does not leave his wife. 2001, breaking his promise to the owner of The Spectator, Johnson stands to be an MP. He now promises voters in Henley that if they vote for him, he will step down as editor of The Spectator. That June, he becomes MP for Henley. He does not step down as editor of The Spectator. In a book he writes during the election campaign, Johnson compares equal marriage to a union between 3 men and a dog. 2000.
Wow, incredible. Was he perhaps writing a dissent in the was he Boris Johnson, or was he actually the United States Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia? For those of you who don't know, that was an actual Supreme Court argument from Antonin Scalia, rest in piss. He literally wrote pretty much that. He was like, what's next? The slippery slope? We let two men get married? What's next? A man and a dog? Likening gay marriage to bestiality. That was a Supreme Court of the United States. Like, that was one of my first things that I read in my constitutional law class that made me go, oh. And I think a lot of people don't have this kind of attitude, but like that was one of the first instances where I was like, oh, this is all bullshit. Like when I read that, I was like, oh, these guys are just fucking, they're just throwing shit at a fucking board, seeing what sticks. Like that literally, once I read the slippery slope fallacy of like gay marriage would open up the door to a man marrying a dog, I was like, oh my God, I will never take this seriously ever again. I will literally never look to the United States Supreme Court and go, that's an institution that deserves to be protected. Straight up. From that moment on, I was like, oh no, this whole notion of like, reading and interpreting the Supreme Court, interpreting the fucking Constitution as anything but a living, breathing document is a silly one. That's when I was like, yeah, no, these guys are completely nonsense. They're doing nonsense.
2002, writing in The Spectator, Johnson defends British colonialism in Africa, saying, the problem is not that we were once in charge, but that we are not in charge anymore. Left to their own devices, the natives would rely on nothing but the instant carbohydrate gratification of the plantain. Meanwhile, in the
Dude, you're fat. You know what I mean? Like, what's up? You're like a fat shithead. You don't know how to fucking raise anything yourself personally, and then you turn around and like make fun of the natives and say they're like barbaric or whatever. At least they're fucking jacked. That's one. And two, I need to stress something here, okay? The lack of self-awareness in Boris Johnson's commentary as a man who is quite literally a deadbeat dad, okay? We do not know how many children he has. How many children does Boris Johnson have? We don't know. Could be 6, could be 10. He literally piped non-fucking stop and would routinely cheat on his wives, as we saw, okay? Is it 6? Is it 7? Is it 10? And then he would turn around and write articles about like single mothers being whores. Like, dog, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't be out there fucking, spreading semen like that and then be like, oh man, single mothers, they create malcontent children. It's like, dude, yeah, your children, you fucking idiot.
Telegraph, he describes black Africans as, quote, flag-waving pickaninnies with watermelon smiles.
Bro, how wild is that? Like, a guy who wrote that actually is the prime minister. Like, Yeah. I mean, I've covered Boris. It's not surprising to me. I've covered Boris Johnson for many, many years. He is of Ottoman descent. You know, he's doing what I'm doing in America, but he's doing that in England. Like we're taking over the country. Me, Dr. Oz, Boris Johnson, and Escantad. You know. Yo, I think he's racist. Yeah, fellas, this Boris guy may not have the best ideas.
2003, Johnson is made vice chair of the Conservative Party.
I always knew you were a racist fuckhead. Wait, what? Me?
And Shadow Arts Minister. 2004, rumours circulate that Johnson has got one of his employees pregnant, resulting in her having an abortion. Johnson slams the suggestion as, quote, complete balderdash and an inverted pyramid of piffle, and assures Conservative Party leader Michael Howard that the claim is untrue. In reality, the rumours are entirely true. Johnson is sacked from his position as Tory vice chair.
Oh, when I say I'm doing the same thing as Boris Johnson, I meant like overtaking the American government from within to do fifth column shit.
And Shadow Minister for lying to the party leader.
As a Turk.
2005, Johnson steps down as editor of The Spectator. Advising his successor on how to deal with a senior female colleague, he says, just pat her on the bottom and send her on her way.
This is a little too racist for me, bro. You're taking it too lightly. I'm not taking it too lightly. I've covered this a million times over, and it doesn't, at this point, I'm unfazed by it. Because you want to know why? Because the British people didn't give a fuck. And actually, the racist piece of shit British media, for the most part, that's like absolutely fucking Tory backed and nonsense themselves, literally completely avoided this side of the reality and hyper focused on, you know, Jeremy Corbyn and how Corbyn wanted to like murder every Jewish person or something because he said Palestinians are human beings. You remember that happening? Remember when that happened? That was really cool. That was very cool when the British media also were way more focused on a man like Corbyn who has dedicated his entire fucking life to fighting against injustices, fighting against apartheid, fighting against injustices, fighting for the marginalized people, working class background. They fucking destroyed that man, dude, because he was too good. Okay? Smeared him nonstop, destroyed him with fucking accusations that he was anti-Semitic. And those accusations were so powerful that like a gigantic chunk of the Jewish population in England unironically were like contemplating leaving the country or some shit if Corbyn won. Like literally, they created mass fucking hysteria in the country. Awful nonsense, dude. And then the very same people, for the record, the very same people that did that in the UK, then came to America and started Democratic Majority for Israel, okay? The same fucking people that have ties to the exact same smear machine in the UK came to America and launched a similar operation. Such a complicated operation that, like, of course, this is the UK, by the way. Of course, there's a fuckload of anti-Semitism in the kingdom, obviously, okay? And there was anti-Semitism within the Labour Party. Half the anti-Semitism within the Labour Party was actually coming from people that were trying to tank the Labour Party from within so they could reinstitute the neoliberal Labour, which is now in power. So, you know, shouts out to Keir. Great stuff. I pipe nonstop. The other guy might possibly hate Jews. Which one are you voting for? Wait, what? Hysteria is a bit of an over-exaggeration. You think it wasn't hysterical? You think the people and their attitude towards Corbyn, because everything that was in the media about Corbyn was about how much of an anti-Semite he was and how much anti-Semitism was happening in the fucking Labour Party at the same time when, like, the Tories were literally putting up a fucking statue for notorious anti-Semite Hitler supporter, first ever female MP. What the fuck's her face? God damn it. Like, they literally were like putting up a fucking statue of a person who said Hitler had some good ideas about the fucking Jews. Well, Nancy Astor. Thank you. Exactly. No, not Margaret Thatcher. No, Nancy Astor They unveiled a Nancy Astor fucking statue, while the media was like, yeah, no, we need to focus on Corbyn being a fucking being an anti-Semite. It's like, bro, are you kidding me? Or first MP, not prime minister. I said MP, first female MP. I said first female MP, Nancy Astor, who straight up said Hitler had good ideas about the Jews. Like, straight up, just there's no other way to like parse through her words. Okay, I said MP. Corbyn also had some other difficulties within his own party, obviously, with the Brexit vote and whatnot. But ultimately, the main reason why he was fucking destroyed was because of the calculated hatchet job smear campaign that you saw from the British news that completely took away from him building a cohesive strategy, a cohesive narrative around his platform, around his campaign, in the same way that he was able to do so in the first fucking run, where he saw more success. And they basically undermined him. They handicapped him by every single time he opened up his mouth. They were like, "You're an anti-Semite. How do you respond? You're an anti-Semite. How do you respond?" They did a really, really good job. Okay. And his party played along with it as well. No, his party played along with it as well. Internally, they 100% were doing the same shit that the media was doing. Internally, they kept saying, like, Corbyn there is anti-Semitism in the Labour. There is anti-Semitism in the Labour. They held up reports. They actually fucking refused to investigate certain shit. Like, the party internally fucked him over as well. The Brits in the chat saying this isn't how they remember it. Must have been living on the moon or some shit. Yeah, no, it's wild. Maybe it's because I just like was following from afar and didn't actually. What is this? Someone from the UK here? That's not how this was at all. Corbyn was a knob as a UK citizen. This is not what I recall happening. Yeah, dude, because you're probably a fucking liberal piece of shit who likes Keir Starmer and loves NATO and loves fucking all this other shit. Okay, that's why. If you can't even fucking defend the bottom of the barrel, which Corbyn is, just a good guy, okay? Just a overwhelmingly good guy. Same with Bernie Sanders. If you can't even fucking defend Corbyn, if you can't comprehend the smear machine that destroyed him, okay? I don't know what to tell you. Like, why are you a leftist, dude? Why do you call yourself a leftist? Maybe you're not. It was fucking disgusting. They completely destroyed any opportunity he had to like fucking put together a cohesive message because everything revolved around his anti-Semitism. If anyone believes Jeremy's an anti-Semite, you're probably a Nazi. I mean, yeah. People still believe that. People still unironically believe that. Remember when they were like, oh, they also did the whole, like, Corbyn lives in a really fucking rich area, too? Remember that? They did that to him, too? They were like, wow, look at this. Where is it? Jeremy Corbyn's son profits from $150 a night Airbnb flat amid labor landlord crackdown. Jeremy Corbyn, where's his house? Corbyn's bro is literal batshit though. Yeah, I mean he is, but that's not his fault. The fuck do you mean? Yes, Corbyn's brother is fucking a psychotic anti-vaxxer and shit, but what does that have to do with him? Do you vote for the entire family of a person? Like, are you out of your fucking mind? Yeah, I know his brother's crazy. I recognize that. They said he didn't look sad enough at Remembrance Sunday. I think that Jezza not taking a firm stance on Brexit certainly didn't help his cause either, although the smear campaign was very prominent. No, I agree. I fucking opened that. I openly mentioned that. Northern English here. We don't like the Queen up here. A lot of us like Corbyn. Don't compare the North to the South. We aren't the same. They fucking said he was anti-Semitic. They said he was anti-Semitic because he said Jeffrey Epstein instead of Epstein. That's what they said. They said it was anti-Semitic for him to say Epstein instead of Epstein. Oh, here it is. Was it the nuisance neighbours? Terraced house next door to Jeremy Corbyn's Islington home is on sale, but at 925,000 quid. Only a real champagne socialist could afford it. The Labour leader has criticised the Tory government for the rising cost of housing in the country, but Mr Corbyn's North London neighbourhood is hardly bursting with affordable accommodation. This property, next door to his own home, is on the market for an eye-watering asking price of 925,000. This is his fucking house, dude. Hey, maybe, does that sound familiar, by the way, guys? Does that sound familiar? Maybe many of the friends of the show will recognize this kind of line of attack. Bernie Sanders, 3 homes. Jeremy Corbyn, look at how expensive and lavish his lifestyle is. It doesn't matter. Your lifestyle does not have to actually be fucking lavish. Look at the house. This house is $1 million, right? The asking price of this fucking house is $1 million. When Jeremy Corbyn says housing prices are fucking insane. Housing prices are fucking insane. This is what he's talking about, okay? Jeremy Corbyn suggests he could scrap Britain's nuclear weapons as the SNP demands he gets rid of Trident missiles to win its backing in a government coalition. So yeah. So remember, the moment that you get fucking here it is. The Times reliably informs that Jeremy Corbyn rides a Chairman Mao style bicycle, also known as a bicycle. The new Labour leader threatened himself to a black cab at his home yesterday, abandoning the Chairman Mao-style bicycle his neighbours always see him riding. Other than that, Jeremy Corbyn treated much of the weekend like any other. He made a trip to Parliament Square to make a speech at a rally in support of refugees and attended a constituency event at a graveyard. In between, does Jeremy Corbyn love the dead? Does he want everyone to die? Mao-style, landlord aside. Why was he at a graveyard? Possibly thinking about all the landlords that could be murdered. So, I mean, they were doing this. They did this, and they did it successfully. And I mean, these are like little bits and pieces of like the kind of mass campaign that mass smear campaign that fucking destroyed everything. Yeah, there it is. Jeremy Corbyn accused of anti-Semitism for the pronunciation of Epstein's name. And it never ended. Jeremy Corbyn's most loyal supporters are more likely to be anti-Semitic than those of other party leaders, YouGov poll reveals. Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Anyway, so yeah. And then this guy won as a consequence of that.
2008, Johnson becomes mayor of London. 2009, he fathers a child with an unpaid advisor to City Hall. 2013, the Court of Appeal throws out an injunction that has until now prevented...
Like, the amount of shit that reactionaries can get away with is incredible, dude. Incredible. Like, this man has already fathered, like, 11 children at this point, okay? He's, like, routinely fucking milking funds and, like, giving it to his friends in every position of power. He's a racist piece of shit. None of that matters. But, hey, it's actually Corbyn that's the fucking... It's actually Corbyn that's the problem. It's actually Corbyn that's the problem. He's an anti-Semite. We got to work on that.
To Johnson being named as the father of the child. 3 judges rule that the public has a right to know about Johnson's, quote, reckless behaviour. By now, Johnson is having an affair with an American technology entrepreneur. Her company will receive £26,000 of public money while Johnson is mayor. She will later receive a £100,000 government grant intended for UK operating businesses, even after relocating to California the previous year. 2014, Johnson denies at least 17 times that he will stand as an MP while still in post as Mayor of London. 2015, Johnson stands as an MP while still in post as Mayor of London. 2016, hedging his bets, Johnson drafts 2 Brexit articles, one pro-Leave and the other pro-Remain. In his pro-Remain article, Johnson says the UK should remain, quote, intimately engaged in the EU, and that Brexit could cause an economic shock, the diminishing of Britain on the world stage, and the breakup of the Union. 2 days later, Johnson announces he will be campaigning for Vote Leave. On June 23rd, Britain votes to leave the EU. Prime Minister David Cameron resigns. Johnson is the leading figure to replace him, but his leadership campaign soon implodes when his own campaign manager, Michael Gove, says that Johnson is, quote, not capable of leading the country. Instead, Cameron is succeeded by Theresa May. She makes Johnson Foreign Secretary. 2017, Johnson fails to impress in the role, making a series of dangerous gaffes. Most notably, he significantly undermines the legal case of Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe, a British Iranian held in Iran on charges of espionage. It will be a further 5 years before she is finally released. 2018, Johnson resigns as Foreign Secretary and returns to his £250,000 a year job.
How can someone fail upwards so much? Be a fucking wealthy aristocrat, okay? And also work on the side of, like, uplifting the same oppressive hierarchies. That's it. That's why it's so fucking funny whenever dumbasses are like, dude, Hassan, you're such a grifter, you're such a grifter. Dude, if I was a grifter, I would just be a conservative. Like, it is literally the easiest, cushiest fucking thing on the planet, you idiot. Do you understand? Like, wealthy people love being defended, okay? They will do everything. They love people who go out and say, no, the rich aren't the problem, actually. Being a conservative mouthpiece is easy for numerous reasons, but it's definitely a financially incredibly viable option. Pay you to defend them. Yeah, of course. Nah, you just found a good niche. Yeah, totally, dude. I did. You know, that's why. By the way, I love when 2-month subscribers are saying this. Dude, I found a good niche for what, the past 10 years? Like, you know what I mean? I've been just doing this niche for the past 10 years, getting fucking owned into oblivion over and over again. And it's such a good niche that there are so many viable examples of, like, leftists who are super successful and financially successful, and not, like, literally a handful of people. I know that person is joking, but that is a very real thing that people say all the time.
As a columnist for the Daily Telegraph. He's soon using his column to label women who wear burqas as, quote, letterboxes. His brother Leo, who's married to a Muslim, slams Johnson for his, quote, bigotry. In the week following his outburst, Islamophobic incidents increase across the UK by almost 400%. Almost half of all reported in-person abuse directly references Boris Johnson or the language he used. Johnson is now having an affair with Carrie Symonds, a former communications director for the Conservative Party. Johnson and his wife will soon separate. 2019, police are called to Symonds' South London flat after reports of a serious altercation. Neighbours report hearing a woman screaming, followed by slamming and banging. Symonds is reportedly heard screaming at Johnson to, quote, get off me and get out of my flat. Symonds will soon be expecting a baby. It is the 5th time as a married man that Johnson has made another woman, who isn't his wife, pregnant.
How fucking nuts is that, dude? Tabloid that loves palace intrigue and shit like that totally avoided Boris Johnson. Like, didn't actually talk about the million affairs that he's had. How nuts. How bananas, dude. Yeah, me. I've been a leftist for more than 10 years, and I'm also a journalist and also very successful. Not.
On the 19th of July, following an internal Conservative Party coup against Theresa May, Johnson fulfills his lifetime ambition and becomes Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Everything in this film was known before the Tory party made him Prime Minister. His tenure has been an administrative and a moral failure. The question now is, what will Conservative MPs do about it?
And I mean, this is how it goes, man. This is how it fucking goes. The part of the reason why, people didn't pay attention to this and didn't care about it is because, again, we are like moths. Okay, we look at we get like see a light source and we lose our fucking minds. And ultimately, even if he gets fucking voted out, or even if he doesn't get voted out and ultimately is forced to resign or whatever because he didn't get enough of a percentage of confidence from his own party, it still doesn't matter. Revealed how labor leaders' joyless approach to life and failure to recognize women's feelings drove his first wife away before he started a year-long affair with Diane Abbott. Wow. Thank God they covered this shit, dude. Meanwhile, Boris Johnson's on like his 8th fucking affair in his relationship. This person, this person was so fucking hyper-focused on his own goddamn work that like they didn't... He had a normal divorce and then had a normal affair. Like normal relationship. But that's considered an affair. Meanwhile, fucking Boris Johnson is like literally piping. This is on the day of remembrance, upright after laying Poppy, followed by a 10-degree dip. They literally calculated his dip in the fucking newspaper to say he didn't bow on Remembrance Day, dude. So when I say the media was fucking psychotic about Corbyn and like attacked him relentlessly for anything and everything, and obviously like I'm not comparing my personal fucking I'm not comparing the impact that I have to any fucking viable leftist movement to what he has done, because he's an actual politician. He's been an activist his whole life. He's done a fuckload, okay? I'm just a goddamn dumbass Twitch streamer, okay? And I don't do shit. But understand that, like, it's not all that different. It's not all that fucking weird. When you are a leftist, you get fucked. You get ass fucked on a daily fucking basis. There is no solidarity. There's no coalition building. There's even the left is looking out to fuck you and out left you, okay, and say like, oh well, his position is untenable, unmanageable on this, that, whatever. There is no understanding of like solidarity there. It's just not. BBC rejects complaints over Jeremy Corbyn's Russian hat. The BBC has dismissed complaints that news site altered a photo of Jeremy Corbyn to make him look more Russian. The BBC actually photoshopped Jeremy Corbyn's hat to make it look more Russian for the smear on news site. Let that sink in. Is it Johnson's policies or personality you're upset with? No, of course his policies are fucking terrible too. I mean, he talked about potentially fucking, it's both. I hate him. Victory. He talked about potentially privatizing the NHS. The Tory government has underfunded the NHS for many, many years, okay? 9 years of fucking austerity. And then he ran on actually putting, and then they ran on actually like, putting more funding into the NHS. That's what Boris Johnson ran on.
Would be the best possible thing for the safety of the Jewish community internationally. My name is David Graeber. I'm an anthropologist from a Jewish family originally from New York. I've been living in this country for about 12 years now. I'm making an appeal. Stop this. Please, for the sake of my safety. Fanning the flames is making things dangerous. What
Dude, my favorite thing is when Nazis come in here, but because they're so devoid of any sort of meaningful power, that the best thing that they can do is rope yourself, you fucking Turkish roach. Like, he sat in here, okay, highlighted his fucking comments. He highlighted his fucking comments. Like, he sat in here, collected enough points so he could fucking highlight his comments, okay? And then wrote 1488. Like, that's it. That's the Nazi... That is the American Nazi movement, okay? That's where we're at now. Good shit, brother. You really fucking killed it. Like, how pathetically fucking desperate is that, dude? That's awesome. You're killing it, dude. You're killing it, the Big Shoe 7110. Imagine sitting around in the chat of a fucking streamer you despise, okay, who you consider to be genetically inferior to you, despite the fact that we both know that's not the case, okay? Get more mad moment after moment, highlight enough, get enough fucking points accrued in the channel by spending time in here, waiting for your opportunity to fucking chime in, just so you can say, rope yourself, you fucking Turkish roach, and be made a mockery of. Motherfucker said highlight Hitler. Yeah. Thank you for your contributions in the chat. Get IP banned, bitch.
Actually threatens Jews, the people who actually want to kill us, are Nazis. Jews will not replace us! Fascism is on the rise.
This is literally an echo chamber. Yes, this is an echo chamber if you consider anything to not have Nazis in it to be an echo chamber. You're not wrong. Yes. There are plenty of people who are conservative who I pull all the time and hear their perspective all the time. But yeah, no, there are no Nazis allowed. Yes. Do you have a better interesting approach than that? Okay, no, there you go. This is absolutely an echo chamber. You can't even criticize more without getting banned by a streamer. Yeah, no, I mean, if you consider that to be an echo chamber, then yes, this is an echo chamber. Yeah, we don't allow Nazis in here. We don't allow Nazis in here. We don't allow transphobic people in here. We don't allow racist people in here. You know, sorry.
Italian police have uncovered a plot to form a new Nazi party.
If Corbyn is crushed, those are the guys who are going to profit from it, the extreme right. People who are actually showing up with automatic weapons at synagogues trying to murder us are the guys who are inspired by Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon is a friend of Boris Johnson. That's the politics. When these guys mobilize, they're coming after us. And who's going to be standing up against them? I mean, we all know from history. The cops tend to disappear when those guys hit the streets. The guys who are standing up for us are the Corbynites. People are acting like Momentum is some kind of anti-Semitic organization. I know the founders of Momentum. There's 4 of them. 3 of them were Jewish. Corbyn's speechwriter is Jewish. If you really want to fight anti-Semitism, you should do exactly what the Corbyn people did do in the Labour Party, is create a forum where everybody can say whatever they want, and some people are going to say anti-Semitic stuff because, let's face it, you know, this is an anti-Semitic society. This stuff is everywhere. It's only if you bring it out that you can then address it. The Corbyn people, whatever else you can say about them, have inspired young people to imagine that society could be different than it is today. It's stupid to cry wolf when there are real wolves baying at the door, especially when the people you're crying wolf against are the guys who are most likely to defend us when the wolves show up. That's going to be a disaster for Jewish people.
Yeah. David Graeber is an American anthropologist who unfortunately passed away 2 years ago. I was about to say last year, but he passed away in September 2020. And you know, he was awesome. He was a great anarchist and did a lot of great work. His most famous work, I would say, probably is Bullshit Jobs. Something that I reference every now and then. Anti-Semitic chat? What do you mean, anti-Semitic chat? Why are you saying anti-Semitic chat? Anyway, so yeah, he's great. He's a great dude. The only anarchist you like? Dude, I love Noam Chomsky too. There's plenty of fucking anarchists I like, and plenty of anarchist works I reference. It's just like, it's the annoying. No, here's what I don't like. Okay, people who are just rad libs who think that their politics are going to be fucking radical if they just claim to be anarchists while still basically saying the exact same shit that like any average Democrat believes in. Okay. Or people who are just like really fucking distorted and anti-progress and have like a worldview that is otherwise perfectionist, that gets in the way of actual progress happening, and like people exhausting the current electoral machinations of the state. Okay. You mean Instagram meme pages? Yeah, there's plenty of fucking weird Instagram meme pages that are annoying as shit. And they are liberals. They are rad libs for the most part. Global exclusive Prime Minister Boris Johnson. What is this? Misled the public about the severity of his COVID-19 condition. Okay, I don't care about this thread. Anyway, so we're waiting on the vote.
Tax or climate change or cost of living isn't believed.
Let's talk a little bit about potential successors. Now, some people might think this is premature, of course, but it's pretty clear from what you said that you think that this is the beginning of the end, even if Boris Johnson survives. Rishi Sunak, for many people, was mortally wounded this year. There is no clear, obvious successor to the Prime Minister, is there?
No. And I think if there was a clear successor, there would be no doubt about the outcome of this leadership race. I think we've agreed, Sophie, that a number of Tory MPs who publicly declared for the Prime Minister don't actually have faith in him. They are just waiting for an alternative unity candidate that they can back. I think once there is an alternative that's clear, I think they will back that person. Gun to my head, if you insisted that I name the sort of person who would win, I think you'd be looking at someone like the Education Secretary, Nadhim Zahawi. The Conservative Party is incredibly divided at the moment. It's an embarrassment that I, as a committee Conservative, have to come onto programmes like yours and talk about this fractious, very split Conservative Party. If we have any chance at the next election of avoiding a Keir Starmer, Nicola Sturgeon coalition at the next general election, we have to find a leader who can unite the party's warring factions. It will be someone who is supported on all sides of the
Keir
party.
Starmer is
like
such a
Nadhim
feckless cunt.
Zahawi, who will be able to unite the party. But don't ask me to bet more than a fiver on that outcome. But if that would be my best bet at the moment.
That's a pretty small amount of money. It does perhaps say a little bit about the confidence in your prediction, I think, there. Tim Montgomery, thank you very much. Good to talk to you today. Well, you are now looking at live pictures from inside the 1922 committee meeting.
Oi, bruv!
This, of course, is where things were
Bojo's
taking
back
place.
to get his fucking comeuppance, yeah?
Talking about as a potential successor to Boris Johnson, and the room starting to
That's
fill up.
fucking right. He's gonna get a fucking shanking, bruv.
Wait for the results.
After all the many years of his meat shanking.
They run on time, of course, which they may.
At least our schools are not a fucking shooting gallery.
Confidence vote. Yes. And you'll remember that she survived it. She lost. She won 63% of the vote. She lost 37% of support. She didn't have a working majority, really. She had to rely on the confidence and supply of the DUP. So she's in a weaker position, if you like, as a Prime Minister than Boris Johnson is, in that he has a 79-seat majority. But you'll remember that she won that vote. 117 of her own MPs said that they didn't have the confidence in her. And then 6 months later, she had to resign because she just got caught in all of those votes in the Commons where the party hadn't managed to oust her, but they managed to do her in on the floor of the House. Instead, she had to stand down and pave the way for Johnson to go on and win that leadership election.
Which I guess is a really useful thing to look at here, because if he does, of course, get to the 180 mark, which people expect him to, the Theresa May threshold, if you like, is 133 people voting against him, if you look at the percentages that you were just talking about. So I guess, in some ways, do you think that is a
I'll be taking a fucking piss, yeah? I'll be back in a
My
moment.
colleague Tom Rayner was just talking to me about this outside, and he he'd worked out that to do better than Theresa May or to level with Theresa May, Boris Johnson needs the support he needs less than 133 MPs to vote against him. So that's his threshold. Anything under that, then he will have bettered Theresa May in this particular confidence vote. So let's see where the numbers come in.
And how do you think the confidence is among Boris Johnson's supporters? You know, we spoke to Kit Malthouse. He said he thinks there's going to be a thumping victory, which I have to say, I thought that was, you know, really nailing his colours to the mast with this vote so imminent. Do you think that there's a bit of confidence among them?
On both sides, whether it be rebels or allies, the one consensus in this riven party now, this very divided party, is that both sides think that the likelihood is Boris Johnson survives the vote. So this is the one thing amid all these divisions that everyone seems to agree on. But in terms of predicting where it lands, the reason it's so difficult is because the government payroll, you've got 160 to 170 MPs who will always say that they will vote for the Prime Minister, but they might not follow through with that.
Particularly if they've got leadership ambitions as well. I was thinking, you know,
secret ballots.
Some of these people may be thinking that if they are going to be hoping to stand for the leader in a few months' time, then actually publicly supporting Boris Johnson, presenting yourself as a unifying character, might not be a bad thing for them.
Exactly. So it's hard to read where the vote goes. I think it's fair to say that should Boris Johnson lose this vote, that would be genuinely a political earthquake. I mean, it would be absolutely astonishing for him to actually lose the vote. I think what people
I'm gonna be honest.
That could happen, though. I mean, I'm not ruling it out either. I'm just saying that it
I'm
would
be honest.
a big.
If the British people actually end up, if the Tories actually end up fucking pushing a vote of not confidence for Boris, they literally are better than American politicians. Okay, because ultimately, like, this would not happen in America. There's no way that this would happen in America. They're like less cucked than the American parties, which is crazy. Why is that guy so red? He's British, bro. A lot of inbreeding, okay? Especially among the elites. And alcohol too. Inbreeding and alcoholism. Inbreeding and alcoholism. The only thing Tories and Boris Johnson can guarantee with his confidence vote is the top of the hour ad break. Fuck off, mate! Fuck off, mate! Sod off! Sod off, you fucking wanker! You bastard. This was supposed to be my fucking moment, bruv. This was supposed to be my fucking moment. It's Boulder Dash. Bastard. You fucking horse's ass. You're diabolical. It's top of the fucking hour, mate. It's time for a 60-second ad break. If you no longer want to see those fucking ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You could do that for $5. You could do that for fucking free, you bastards. You could also do that by getting gifted a sub if you're lucky. If you're fucking lucky, mate. Is an MP who's got a skin condition and got abused by other MPs and the media. There's articles about it on the BBC. Oh, dude, am I being ableist? Yeah, okay, so I was right. It's alcohol and inbreeding. All right, Bill Vogue, thank you. Fucking thank you, mate. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs, allowing 10 people to no longer see the fucking ads, yeah. You're right. Addy Rockhart, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Allowing 5 people to no longer see the fucking ads, mate. Is the fucking 1 minute ad break now. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. Do a Liverpool accent. I can't do Liverpool, dude. I love it, but I can't. Liverpool. I'm not a Tory. I'm a Scouser. Not a fucking Tory. And Widdicombe accent now. Yes. Yes, it's very nice. Oh,
isn't it?
Indubitably.
Which kind of governs the rules of the Conservative Parliament.
Yes, this sacred hallowed halls of Parliament will once again arise. Boris Johnson has left an absolutely terrible mark on this Parliament. Your general English accent is actually on point. Having said that, please stop. I will never stop, dude. Are you crazy? Ask Patty what he thinks about Georgians and immigration. Yes, bro. Yes, I know, dude. Yes, Patty is fucking racist, dude. Yeah, I'm shocked. That's crazy. That's crazy that he's racist, bro. That's you fucking nailed it. Like, I know he is. Dude, they have such fucked up haircuts,
that,
dude. Holy shit.
That he is safe for another year. And this is also why it's curious about the timing of this vote, because if you were a rebel...
Can you do a Jacob Rees-Mogg accent? Jacob Rees-Mogg. Yes, of course. Delightful. Very similar to the Boris type. Very nice. I'm Jacob Rees-Mogg, and I've been a pathetic incel since I was a mere child, a brat. I've had a portfolio full of diverse stock options since I was a child. Yes. Very nice. That is not it. I mean, that's the Boris Johnson. That's the Boris Johnson accent, and it is actually good. This is Signal Boost Navarro. They're one of the few. Oh, here it is.
59 ballots were cast.
Every fucking easy
ballots. That the vote in favour of having confidence in Boris Johnson as leader was 211 votes, and the vote against was 148 votes. And therefore, I can announce that the Parliamentary Party does have confidence.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Fucking here, mate. The Tories said no. We do have confidence in Boris. We have confidence in him. No, that's a fuckload of votes, chat. What are you, crazy? The fact that he got 100, what is it? That's really bad. He might actually be forced to fucking resign inevitably. That's a huge amount of no confidence votes, dude. That's actually good.
Well, there you go. That is the results of the confidence motion. The cheers there, the support.
211 yes and 148 no's with a majority of 63%. That's right.
211 MPs said yes. 148 MPs said no.
Many there have been examples in the past in the UK of a Tory Prime Minister actually forced to resign once a percentage of the party has demonstrated that they do not have the 63 vote difference. Oh, not 63%. Sorry, 63 vote difference. Sorry, mathematics is not my strong suit. The difference is 63 votes. I apologize.
148 Conservative MPs saying they don't have confidence in the Prime Minister. Beth.
Theresa May was like 140 and resigned 6 months later.
Looking at that figure, you are going to be disappointed by that. That is a very disappointing result for Boris Johnson. A majority of just 63, 148 of his parliamentary party have signalled that they do not have confidence in him as Prime Minister. That is definitely on the upper end of estimations that I had been hearing today. As
I just don't think that like Boris Johnson will resign. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like he's an incredibly shameless person and he doesn't give a shit.
Is how on earth can Boris Johnson really corral the party, get legislation through when 148 of his own backbenchers say that they no longer have confidence in him? You only need 40 MPs to consistently vote against Boris Johnson for him to lose his majority. And there you have 148. That will give him plenty of food for thought tonight. I should say, though, too, Sophie, that the Prime Minister has been very clear all of the way through this, as have his allies, that he has no intention of resigning.
Yeah,
he is
there you go.
out of office. But that is a deeply uncomfortable result for him. And you have to ask after that, are we now going to
I think it
watch
was good
a period
seeing...
of time
I think it was
Boris
good
Johnson
seeing
is
Boris
in
Johnson's
office, he's
video of
survived some
shamelessness,
down the street,
because
but he is
now
not
you get a
really
better feel
in
for why
power.
he will
He does
definitely
not
not
have the
resign. Do you
authority
understand?
over his party when 148 of his own MPs
Hold on one second.
say that they don't have confidence in him. You've got to remember that the government payroll vote is 160 to 170. So, you know, he's brought in a lot of support from the government payroll there, but 148 against him, that is deeply disappointing.
And certainly if you look at the expectation management from Number 10, they are going to be shaken by that figure, 148. That is certainly at the upper end of what people were predicting. And as Beth was saying, it really does feel that there are going to be questions about how he's going to govern going forward when the public know that 148 of his own MPs don't have confidence in him, and of course the working majority that he has in getting legislation through as well.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at those votes, my colleague Louis has just done the calculation for me. We think it's about 58% of his MPs have backed him, which tells you that 58.7, so 41% have not. So he's done far worse than Theresa May did back in 2019.
And significantly worse, as you said. Thank you, Beth. Well, let's go live now to the Houses of Parliament, where our Deputy Political Editor, Sam Coates, is in central lobby for us. Sam.
Thank you very much indeed, Sophie. Yes, one Cabinet loyalist said to me a moment ago, that is more disappointing than we were expecting. So, for the first reaction, we have two MPs, two members, people who sit around the Cabinet table. Nadine Zahawi, he's the Education Secretary, Michelle Donlan, who also works in that department. Nadine, let's start with you. This is a disappointment. Can you say that?
Well, I think the important thing to remember is whichever side of the argument you're on this, the one thing we all believe in is democracy. That was a ballot. The Prime Minister won handsomely. I think the important thing to remember is that we only are able to deliver if we are united. I hope we can draw a line under this now and focus on delivery.
OK, I'm going to stop you there. 41% of Tory MPs have tonight said that they have no confidence in Boris Johnson. How can you stand here and say that is a handsome result for Boris Johnson?
Because those 41% that you refer to are equally democratic. They believe in this party. They believe in democracy. They made their opinion.
You are making a different argument.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Listen to me.
Whether or not it's a larger than anticipated margin.
Sam, it's a ballot. 50 plus 1 is a majority, right? Boris did much better than that. We draw a line and we move on because we've got 2 years to demonstrate to the nation that we can deliver on the economy. We've got to deal with the global battle against inflation. We've got to deal with the backlog of the NHS, safer streets, and of course, war in Europe. What do you think President Zelensky will be thinking tonight? He'll be punching the air because he knows his great ally Boris Johnson will be Prime Minister tomorrow morning. That's what we've got to focus on. What Michelle and I are doing is focusing on skills, schools, family, because Boris Johnson has mandated us to deliver on those things. These are big priorities for the nation. Your viewers will be thinking about what are these cabinet ministers going to do to deliver over the next 2 years. We've won the vote tonight. We move on and we build this country's economy because we have to recover from COVID and, of course...
Cutie's not here yet. I had a delivery.
41% of your colleagues tonight that voted no confidence in Boris Johnson.
So I think now is the time to move on. Now is not the time for self-indulgent navel-gazing. Now is the time to deliver. It's what we're doing as ministers in the Department for Education, and it's what we're doing across government on the people's priorities, tackling that NHS backlog, helping people with the cost of living. These are
British
the
media
that
can be quite brutal
day in, day out.
when they want to be.
41% was so high.
So I think we've had a democratic vote tonight. Boris Johnson has won. Now we need to move on, and we need to get focused on delivery, and that's what this government is going to do over the next 2 years, and deliver for the British public and tackle the issues that constituents are contacting me every day about. Worried about their energy bills, worried about their cost of living. We saw a big package where we gave additional support just a couple of weeks ago, and that's the type of things that you can expect from this government.
Final question, Nadhim Zahawi. Do you really expect all of that 41%, that 148 strong bunch of Tory MP rebels against the Prime Minister to now shut up and get on with supporting the Prime Minister? You're in for a protracted period of Tory civil war, aren't you?
What I expect from my
protracted
colleagues,
Tory civil
which
war.
I know they believe in, right? I've spoken to pretty much all of my colleagues, is democracy. Right? We know we have a constitution in the party. We've exercised that today. I hope we can now draw a line against all the speculation from the media and the rest of the sort of the Twitterati and everyone else, and focus on delivering. All of my colleagues, whichever way they voted, know that we win the election when we are united. People don't vote for divided parties. That's my message. We're Democrats above everything else. And I think you'll find
Boris
every
is
colleague,
technically
even those who
less
voted
popular
against
than
Prime
Theresa
Minister
May.
will agree with that statement.
Thank you very much indeed, Nadhim Zahawi. So there you have it, Sophie. The first reaction out of the blocks is that Boris Johnson has won handsomely, even though 148 Tory MPs voted tonight that they have no confidence in Boris Johnson.
There you go, Sam. A handsome victory indeed. Thank you very much for that. Well, let's bring Beth Rigby back in, shall we, at this
What
point.
the
I think
fuck
it
is a
interesting, isn't it?
handsome victory, dude? All conservatives would say just move on for anything. They could point to blank murder people and still be like, stop complaining, let's just move on. I mean, that's not all that different than the United States of America, is it? Yeah. I don't know how handsome this victory is,
but... You can't draw a line under it when 41% of your own MPs say they have no confidence in you. That is in black and white. It's set in stone. The vote has happened. It's a matter of record now. This is a Prime Minister who has lost the confidence of 41% of his parliamentary party, the majority by some of his backbenchers. It's worse than Theresa May, how she did in 2019. And you'll remember 6 months later, she had to resign. Jim Pickard, my former colleague at the FT, just tweeting out that it's a lower percentage-wise than John Major in 95 and Margaret Thatcher in 1990. So had the hope been for the Prime Minister and his allies to turn the page and draw a line on it, you just simply can't when the rebellion is as big as that. And it raises questions about how on earth he commands the Commons. How does he drive through legislation when so many of his MPs now say they don't have confidence in him as Prime Minister anymore?
It feels, doesn't it, that so far allies of the Prime Minister have tried to say that this is effectively Remainers, disgruntled Remainers, trying to rehash old arguments. But the fact that the number is so high, as you say, 40%, 148, that means
it's just not accurate.
That means that's a cross-section of the party from all wings, 40%, as
exactly,
you said. It can't be pocketed.
This is a very bad result for the Prime Minister. 117 votes against.
Honestly, the US cares much more about politics than we do in the UK. No, we don't. It's just that our politics is like really entertaining to watch for the most part.
Sam, apologies. We are going straight to Keir Starmer, who's giving his reaction.
But to be fair, the UK politics is like very similar to the American politics as well, because like this guy is literally the fucking. This is like what do they call it? The blue Labour. Like he is a neoliberal cucklord and also sucks ass. And that not red Tory, sorry. Like they're neoliberal Blairite adjacent, like Blairite coalition Labour Party people. So they are like literally the Democratic Party.
Firmly to Boris Johnson and everything that he represents. The Conservative Party now believes that good government focused on improving lives is too much to ask. The Conservative government now believes that breaking the law is no impediment to making the law. The Conservative Party now believes that the British public have no right to expect honest politicians. Over the weekend, the whole country celebrated the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. It was a tribute to 70 years of humility, decency, and respect.
Fuck you, dude.
A reminder of our common cause to build
he's such a
better
cock.
country for
A
ourselves,
fucking
our
bellend,
children,
bruv.
and our grandchildren.
Humility?
It is
What you
grotesque
fucking mean,
that
humility?
the very
And
next day,
decency?
The Conservative Party has chosen to throw that sense of duty and those values on the bonfire.
I love when the Socialist Labour Party is talking about the Platinum Jubilee and talking about the Queen and the humility that she represents.
My leadership, with a plan to ensure that Britain is never again plunged into a
This is
cost of
such
living
a
crisis,
fucking awesome
focused on growing
Democratic
the
Party
economy
adjacent,
so we can afford
Democratic Party
world-class
adjacent
schools
fucking
and
line right
hospitals,
there.
and determined to restore trust in politics. Or a Conservative Party that is divided, propping up Boris Johnson with no plan to tackle the issues facing you and your family. I don't claim that I or my party will get everything right, but I promise that when we don't, we will always be honest with you. We will prioritise your prosperity and your security, and we will treat you with the respect you deserve from your politicians. I promise that together we will end the farce we've seen in recent months, that we will once again put the country first, get rid of this tired, out-of-touch government, and get Britain back on track. Thank you.
Keir Starmer there giving
humility,
his
dude. Look at that.
to the
Queen
results
Elizabeth
of that
appears as a
conference, like
hologram
speaking,
inside of a
at
200
Labour
inside of a 260-year-old golden carriage. Humility. When I think about the Queen, I think humility and decency. 70 fucking years, bruv. 70 fucking years. All the colonies. Yeah, let me show you humility and decency. Are you ready for this? You want to see humility? You want to see decency? Here, let's let me show you some of the victims of you know. Let me show you humility and decency. She was tortured with axes during Kenya's struggle for independence from British colonial rule. As Britain celebrates the platinum jubilee of its monarch, this old fighter wants to send her a message. Let Elizabeth bring what belongs to me. This is Muthoni Mathenge. Let Elizabeth bring what belongs to me. That's what I want to say. No middleman in between. Let the compensation come directly to me. She should look for a sensible person and send it here. Muthoni wants compensation for being tortured by British troops with axes during Kenya's fight for independence. Hold on, there's their archive footage. She was part of the Mau Mau Rebellion, which began in 1952. I can't show you some of the footage. Just after Queen Elizabeth II assumed the throne. Remember, 70 years of decency, right? 70 years of decency. That's what Keir Starmer said. 70 years of decency, right? Just want to point that out. When they talk about 70 years of humility and decency, this is part of that. This is what they're talking about. Muthoni's husband was a rebel fighting the British colonizers. Like, their victims are still alive. When the British soldiers came, I said I had not seen him for days. I refused to tell them. Informing on the fighters was like signing your own death warrant. British troops tortured her, hoping she would give up her husband's location. She resisted, and the neighbors later helped her find him in the forest. He nursed my wounds and even my legs. Even if you look at this leg, you can see it was pierced with an axe twice. They chopped their leg up with an axe. But Muthoni was eventually caught by the British troops. I don't want to show. I'm worried that there might be some... As they brutally suppressed the rebellion. Along with thousands of other Kenyans, she was detained in inhumane conditions. Hey, does this like remind you of something? I mean, obviously, we live in a civilized world, right? Like this would never happen, right? These kinds of concentration camps would never happen. Oh wait, America does that in the Middle East, like right now. Oh, that's right. We are still doing that. Never mind. That's true, but also, hey, you know, surely it's different. Surely. I mean, Hassan, you don't understand. Like, you know, the Middle Easterners, they deserve it. You know what I mean? They need this. Notice how they called the fighters for freedom from colonialism rebels. Thousands more were killed. At times, the dead bodies could fill up to 2 lorries, and we would bury them all day. We weren't allowed back inside before we buried them all. We would bury 6 people per grave. We had to pile them on top of each other. The British government paid compensation to more than 5,000 rebels in 2013. But Matoni Matenge says without a lawyer, she was not able to claim any money. Now she wants justice from the British head of state for herself and for her husband, who never emerged from the forest. Let her give me a just compensation because she's the ruler. So yeah, just remember. You know, just remember that. Just remember that. When people say humility and decency, 70 years of humility and decency, just remember that that's what they're talking about. Yeah, we are not a racist family. Guys, it's tradition. It's tradition. Oh, you don't understand it. It's tradition, bruv. Boy, bruv, it's fucking tradition, yeah. You gotta do it. You gotta do what you gotta fucking do. Yep. They like it. They fucking like it. I'm obliged to do it, yeah? It's heritage, bruv. It's heritage. British people learn about the atrocities in their schools, or is it propagandized like in America? Decency, humility. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Decency and humility. Their response to this was, it's a tradition. Don't forget the mentally challenged cousins that were shunned by the royals. As we celebrate Queen Elizabeth's 70-year reign, let's not forget her first cousin Nerissa and Catherine Boleyn, who were mentally disabled and publicly pronounced dead, despite being hidden away at an asylum with no money or visitors until their deaths in 1986 and 2014. Nerissa and Catherine Boleyn. Wow, I didn't know that. This I did not actually know. In 1987, it was revealed that despite the 1963 edition of Burke's Peerage listing Nerissa and Catherine as having died in 1940 and 1961 respectively, the sisters were alive and had been placed in an Earlswood hospital for the mentally disabled people in 1941. In the terminology of their birth, were classified as imbeciles, and neither learned to talk. Nerissa died in 1986, age 66, with only hospital staff attending a funeral. While Catherine died in 2014, age 86. The sisters received no money from the family other than the £125 paid to Earlswood each year. Earlswood closed in 1997. I never learned about any of this in school in England. I had no idea. The monarchists are elitist freaks, as you already know. I mean, dude, you don't even need to know that much about like what the monarchs have done, other than like by design. It is just like an unjustifiable thing. You know what I mean? Like if we live in like in a democratic world, there were plenty of fucking hard fought and won battles against said unjustifiable hierarchies. So just across the board, you can just imagine everything horrible and everything wrong and attribute it to the monarchs without even actually knowing whether or not they've done it. And 99.9% of the time, they actually have done it. Collaboration with the Nazis, or you know, collaboration with other royal families, obviously, that they inbred with systemically. You know what I mean? What is this? Why do you chill with the iDubbbz' racist ass, dude? What is this? Wait, hold on. Where are we going? Why do you hang out with people who drop M-bombs like iDubbbz? Why do you chill with iDubbbz' racist ass? Why do you chill with iDubbbz' racist ass? Why do you chill with iDubbbz' racist ass? Go watch the latest YouTube video. There's also a purposeful destruction of documents in regards to colonial projects called Operation Legacy. Even if they were charitable, good people, it wouldn't matter. The institution has to go. Yeah. American families send kids on the spectrum to live in the desert in Utah until they're 18. The Samoa until 25 all the time. This shit is common and is disgusting. Why the Sun was right to publish pictures of the Queen's Nazi salute. Many families have passed that they prefer to remain hidden, but it's different when it's entwined with the history of Britain. Here it is, bruv. Showing our future queen making Nazi-style salutes in a 1933 home movie has caused something of a furor. Yeah. There's a Hallmark movie about Harry and Meghan where the Queen says they have African heritage. Where are the most democratic, highest standard of living countries why are all the highest democratic, highest standard of living countries all constitutional monarchies? Japan, Norway, UK, etc. Just think about that for a second, and maybe you'll be able to understand that the highest standard of living countries have long traditions of imperialism. I wonder if it has something to do with the legacy of imperialism rather than I don't fucking know. Maintaining some like symbolic monarchy. I just don't understand how you could title the latest video why everything iDubbbz ever said is based in factual. Yeah, that's what I did. Do you think the left is open to being too moralist, judging capitalists on moral terms like greed, for example, and implying that the issues of capitalism would be fixed if we had good capitalists? What leftist says the issues of capitalism would be fixed if we had simply good capitalists? Those people are not leftists, dude. What are you talking about? That's literally antithetical to anti-capitalist thought. That is the exact opposite of anti-capitalist thought. You cannot be a fucking Marxist and literally be like, oh, there's some good capitalists out there that'll save the system from within. What are you talking about? Without resolving the inherent contradiction amongst the two different classes under a capitalist organization of the economy, there is no end to capitalism. You're just a liberal, I think. I don't know. The UK is America without gun violence and with universal health care. I mean, the good capitalism attitude is actually prevalent. I'm surprised to hear it in this chat and in this community, but not surprised to hear of its existence. The World Economic Forum believes in good capitalists. They think like all of these Fortune 500 companies actually are run by good capitalists. They call it stakeholder, not shareholder, stakeholder capitalism. They believe in defending capitalism so much that they recognize that late-stage capitalism is like eviscerating the fucking working poor, and therefore they talk about having stakeholder capitalism. It's a defense mechanism. No, I have not watched the new Jubilee video with the conservative parents versus or conservative teens versus liberal parents. I am excited to watch this and fucking mauled though. My brother and Adam Smith, it has been 200 years. It ain't getting better. Yeah. All right. So we watched Bojo get fucking voted on the no confidence vote, and Bojo survived the no confidence vote. Yes, Milo Yiannopoulos is an intern for Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care. I don't want to ultimately destroy the systems of violence, but it's not going to happen. But you know what will happen? Boris Johnson talking about the no confidence vote.
Is because we have
That's
a
right.
robust
And then
economy,
we'll get back to the other thing in a second.
the lowest level for 50 years. That is, those are the things that really matter to our country right now. And I am pleased because we now have the chance to talk exclusively about those priorities and not about all sorts of stuff that I know is of obsessive and compulsive interest to my beloved friends in the media. But I don't think really matters as much as the agenda of the government.
So you're in a worse position than Theresa May was after her vote in 2018, and you think this is a good result?
I think it's an extremely good, positive, conclusive, decisive result, which enables us to move on, to unite, and to focus on delivery. And that is exactly what we're going to do.
And to confirm, you're ruling out a snap election?
Sorry, you keep asking about, look...
Just yes or no?
I'm certainly have no... I see no point in focusing on anything else. And I'm certainly not interested in snap elections. What I'm interested in is delivering right now for the people of this country. We've got an amazing agenda. We have a fantastic mandate, a huge, biggest majority we secured in 2019 for the Conservatives for 40 years. If you look at what's just happened in Parliament, whatever statistics you want to chuck around, I've got many more MPs supporting me now than I did in 2019. I'm happy with that. We're going to bash on. We have a huge agenda, and we're going to get it done.
So you still think you're a popular Prime Minister in the party and in the country?
Look, can I just say, I think the most important thing, although you may want to focus on me and on politics and on Westminster, I think what matters is what we deliver and what we do. And as a result
yes,
of
I
this
tweeted from the bathroom, okay?
decision tonight,
I tweeted from the fucking loo. Sue me about Dave fucking Weigel.
Far too long, and we have the ability now to unite, deliver, and get on with the people's priorities, and that is what we're going to do. Okay? Thank you. Thank you.
Boris Johnson there giving his reaction to that vote of confidence in his leadership, where 40% of his parliamentary party voted to say they had no confidence in him as Prime Minister. He said, I think this is a very good, positive, inclusive, decisive result that allows us to move on.
Listen,
now to our
the royalists are the biggest cucks in the entire country. When you get the fucking royalists that have gotten together to like suck off the Queen's dead body or whatever.
Did you feel the tone of the Prime Minister's response was?
When those guys are the ones who are booing you, you've already lost the plot. Those are the biggest fucking bootlickers on the planet, dude. When those guys are booing you, you are profoundly, profoundly unlikable. You are profoundly and broadly disliked. Straight up. Those guys literally defend the monarchy, dude. I mean, come on. They are basically conditioned like robots to being servile. Those guys are the ones who are booing you. You fucked up.
Badly, or just how well would he do? How would the numbers stack up? And I think this is a worse result, definitely, than many people expected. And as I was saying in my interview, this is worse than Theresa May. She had a more decisive victory, and she was gone 6 months later. And at the time, Boris Johnson's allies were saying that she was a lame duck, saying that she couldn't carry on. So to see him, I think, buoyant, calling this a convincing victory, saying it had been a good night, I thought was quite striking. I thought that perhaps he might strike a more serious tone. He said this was the moment to unite, to focus on the domestic agenda. But I think the reality is, with that many MPs from his own party against him, that could now be very challenging.
Yeah, certainly the gulf between the Prime Minister's tone and that of many of his MPs really quite striking this evening. Ali Forsky, thank you very much indeed. Ali there in Downing Street. Well, let's get some more reaction now, shall we, to that result. We're joined now by Sonia Soda, who's a chief leader writer at The Observer, and Sarah Southern, a former aide to David Cameron. Sarah, let's go to you first. A positive result, a decisive result, time to move on.
Doesn't feel like that. I think if you've got 41% of your parliamentary party voting against you, you maybe aren't feeling as decisive as you would hope. I think the comparison that the Prime Minister made there, he's done better than 2019. Well, it's not a like-for-like election. If that's the case, maybe let's have a rerun of the leadership election with the party.
Yeah, interesting take that. And it does feel like that comparison. We've heard Simon Hart doing it on this programme earlier. Boris Johnson clearly seems to perhaps be one of the lines to take from Number 10 in response to it. Sonia Sodru, do you think this is worse than people are expecting?
It is worse than people are expecting, and it's kind of like it's a pretty bad result for the Conservative Party as well, I think, because at least if the rebels had got enough votes together to sort of depose Boris Johnson imminently, that would have provided some kind of decision for the Conservative Party. Here, you've almost got the worst of all worlds, really. You've got a pretty bad vote for the Prime Minister, worse than people were expecting. That 2019 wrong. I mean, it's just wrong, actually. Boris Johnson got a greater proportion of the parliamentary party voting for him against Jeremy Hunt back in 2019 than now. So I think it shows just quite how desperate they are that they're sort of trying to find these lines to spin.
And also, it's a completely different vote. It's a confidence vote in the Prime Minister compared to a vote about
rebels, mate,
as a leader.
Exactly, and so I think it leaves the Prime Minister really wounded. I think it massively undermines his legitimacy and authority within his parliamentary party. We've got a couple of really important by-elections coming up in the next couple of weeks, which it actually looks like the Conservatives are going to lose both of them. So it's a pretty dire state of affairs. But, Boris Johnson is Boris Johnson. He will try and cling on for as long as he can. But I think what this means is we're going to be stuck with a government that even more than ever is just kind of afflicted by paralysis, strife, conflict, and very little will get done for the country.
The thing that really struck me from Boris Johnson's interview there is what it says about what he intends to do in the coming months. And it is pretty clear that he is going to take this result as a mandate, whether people agree with it or not, to dig in and he's certainly not going to resign, is he? Where do you think this leaves the Conservative Party going forward?
He really now needs to win those MPs back on side. I don't believe he'll resign. I appreciate that, Theresa May lasted another 6 months after her leadership confidence vote. I think that the Prime Minister won't resign. But if he doesn't win those MPs back on side, and if he doesn't win the party membership
Boris Johnson is literally the most shameless piece of shit, dude. Why would he fucking resign?
So let's see
and Maya
what
are going to be over
outcome of the
soon.
by-elections is at the end of June. We'll soon be into summer recess. I think the Prime Minister needs to decide what his agenda is moving forward. What is it that he stands for? How is he going to tackle this cost of living crisis? How is he going to tackle the energy crisis? If he doesn't do a barnstorming speech at party conference come October, I think he could be, again, in difficulty in terms of having support from the party faithful.
I think certainly, if any of the reaction for many Conservative MPs to this, if he makes it to the conference, then that is, in some ways, is quite a hurdle to clear. In some ways, Sonia, do you think this could be the best result for Labour? You've got a Prime Minister who is wounded, despite the fact that his allies are saying that it was decisive, but it doesn't look like he wants to go anywhere.
I think for Labour, probably the longer that Boris Johnson hangs around. I mean, it's not great for the country, but I think probably the better for the Labour Party, because I think if you look at the polling, what you can see quite clearly is that Boris Johnson is a real drag on the Conservative brand. He's doing much, much worse than the party itself. I think the reason why this vote is so problematic for him is it's reflective of the fact that his MPs have been out talking to their constituents, and we can see in the polls that the public have really turned against Boris Johnson in a way that they just weren't quite there maybe 6 months ago. And I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on his MPs. And it would be quite extraordinary if a Prime Minister managed to turn around the level of unpopularity that Boris Johnson now has got with voters. I think to turn that around is quite impossible, actually. So I do think that sooner or later his MPs will act. But I think, Labour, it's a really good outcome for Labour. That Boris Johnson sort of hanging around, the Tories. I mean, some of the...
Starmer is so bad that Boris Johnson has been gift wrapping and hand delivering gifts to the fucking Labour Party for the past 2 fucking years with his mishandling of COVID across the board. And routine corruption charges, regular fucking indecency, shit like this. This latest round is no different. And Starmer is still like unable to utilize this and build momentum around Labor. Like he's just a cuck. He sucks. He's not good. It's very similar to the fucking Democratic Party. Very, very, very similar to the Democratic Party.
The first ever Conservative MP for these kind of seats. They say, why would you get rid of him?
But that was Boris Johnson 2019 model. So much has happened, so much has changed. I don't believe that the public have got such an affection for him that they did 2.5 years ago. You know, what was achieved in that 2019 election was incredible. I never thought in my lifetime that I would see so many Tory seats in the northeast of England. You know, I effectively come from a Tory stronghold now, but I think that unless he brings that pizzazz back, I don't think the public will be voting for him again.
Thank you both very much indeed. Interesting to hear your thoughts tonight. Well, that is the end of our general...
Dude, reactionary culture war